What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to have a deck profile for you guys, kind of changing things up, seeing if I can make some improvements. But first off, it's going to be none other than with Arresterdramon Superior Mode. So, with Arresterdramon Superior Mode, this deck is the final arc of the Cross Heart series that we've had. We had 3 sets of Cross Heart support in a way, shape, or form relating to each season. And now we have it all said and done with the release of Across Time. So with that, we are at the final arc, facing the final villain of this series, and that is none other than Quartzmon. So using all these amazing save effects that it got, Cross Heart's save effects that it had its predecessor, this deck plays in a similar manner with it's using Tamers and Digimon to be able to tuck them under, but instead of normally using them for the cross abilities, cross hearts and stuff like that, you're now going to be able to use it as a way of digivolving your Digimon's cost, reducing it to basically 0. So with that, we can take a look into it, and let's dive into the video and talk about it. Without further ado, we have none other than Manemon. Manemon is on deletion. If this Digimon has save, draw a card. So timing is very important because if you save first, you'll lose out on the draw. So make sure that when you are doing the order operations, you do the draw first from the on deletion and then save. Because if you save first, the Digimon's no longer in trash and it no longer counts as a viable target for your draw because it was no longer in the trash. So it has to be in trash first, then you can save. So you want to make sure that this effect always goes off. Always do that. So that's very important. And then we got some very interesting facts a little bit about this. We are playing for Psychmon, so it does have a Digicross effect, basically making him come in for 2 costs, which is not bad. You want to have a little bit of rookies that have a Digicross like that, so they let you save. But on play, when this Digimon is played, you can take 1 card with save under your Tamers and add it to your hand, and then it has on deletion save, but it can also Digivolve for 0 on top of a Digimon with save in its text. This deck heavily focuses on the keyword save this time around, which is very important and vital for the deck because everything has an inheritable up and climbing. Just giving you a heads up, the save portion of the deck doesn't always mean that if you Digivolve into a non-Digimon with any word save, that little red block on that card anywhere, because its inheritables might have save this. If you have a bunch of these inheritables, they don't count because it doesn't count being part of the card. So the top end has to be a card with the save keyword in it. Anywhere on the card itself counts. So make sure you recognize that, because if players try to cheat you, they will out of that way. So make sure you remember that. But with Psychmon being able to Digicross, I'm going to give you a small heads up. All the purple Digimon in this deck have the ability of, when attacking, once per turn, if this Digimon has save in its text, draw a card. This is basically your complete draw engine right here, is by having Digimon be able to swing and draw you cards. You do have a Tamer that lets you draw, and then you have a few Digimon that let you search, but most of your draw advantage does come from the inheritable draws. So we want to max out on those draw advantages as soon as possible. So Psychmon, definitely a very value piece because it gets pieces back and be able to set you up. Because if you tuck something early, you will be able to grab it with Psychmon. Then we do have Gumdramon as the next one. So Gumdramon is part of the new Hunter's Ace. Taiguru's Ace, actually, to be honest with you. He's an up-and-coming Digimon, so this is one of the main leads Digimon that has a very powerful design with him. So on play, he has you may take 1 of your save in its text, Digimon cards with save in its text, and tuck it under one of your Tamers. Then you get to draw a card for its on play. It does have a Digicross with save in its text, So you can set up, maybe tuck a Psychmon underneath there for another draw advantage. Stuff like that does add up. And then it has a on deletion save, being able to tuck itself under a Tamer. And then when attacking, same thing as Psychmon, is that it gets to draw a card as long as it has save in its text. And then you have the black text box, allowing it to digivolve for 0 cost on top of a save in its text Digimon. So that means Manimon in raising. So stuff like this does help out, and there is a combo at the end of the video. I will explain how it goes off, and it'll be very vital to you to actually win games sometimes. So keep that in mind as we go further in. Then we are playing 2 Dracmon. So Dracmon is quite useful. It has a Digicross effect with save in its text. You know, the whole drill of being able to reduce. The rookies kind of just have that. The main rookies, by the way, not the side rookies, because if it's a side rookie, don't expect it. So on play, you may reveal up to 3 Tamers from your hand. You may place them at the bottom of your deck, and then you may draw 1 card for each Tamer put back. So that lets you cycle in pieces. Once your hand gets flooded, sometimes it's good to be able to drop a Dracmon for a reduced cost and be able to get some momentum back in. Because sometimes your hand can get flooded with Tamers that you'll never play again. So being able to cycle them away really does help out. But it also has a great inheritable of giving you extra 2000 DP as long as you have save in its text. So this sets up really nicely for future plays, being able to push damage if you don't have jamming in your evolutionary traits, inheritables, you know? And then we do have the ability of, you know, save on top of a level 2 as long as it has save in its text. So Monotamon Evolution. So very vital, useful card. Then we do have finally 2 last level 3s, and that's this pencil thing. I will not pronounce this name because I will botch it, but I'll just give it a try. Ikaimon. This card digivolves on top of your rookie, basically your Digitama in raising. That's all it's going to do. But also, when attacking, if the Digimon has save in its text, minus a grand total of 2000 DP from one of your opponent's Digimons for the turn. So this makes it a lot easier to combo in with other cards in your deck, like maybe Omni Shout or King Shout's inheritable. Being able to remove threats with a certain DP threshold really does help out, make them smaller, and gets you into being able to apply pressure that way. So, not bad. I think that's a pretty solid rookie lineup, in my opinion. So next, we do have a Damon. So this card here, not gonna lie, really powerful. Being able to, on play or when digivolving, look for Tagiru, a U, or a Taiki, and be able to play them from the top 3 cards of your deck really does help out in certain circumstances, because now you get a free Tamer out of the deal. Most of the time you might whiff. It just really comes down to your luck, but it really does come in handy. So you really want to max out on this. It also gives opponent's turn, if this Digimon has save blocker, it can Digicross, reducing its costs to being a 3 play cost. Really does help out. And then its on deletion has a save this Digimon, and then it pulls a card with save from your trash right under one of your Tamers as well. So you're not completely losing out if these things die early on, because as long as you have 1 Tamer, this Digimon, you tucked maybe a Psychmon underneath there, or you digivolved it on top of a Psychmon. Now you can get that Psychmon back in to rotation and just keep going. So being able to revitalize pieces is huge for this deck, because you can lose momentum pretty quickly, especially if you are not drawing all the key pieces you need and you need to cycle pieces back in. Really does help out. So Daemon is really powerful for the deck. Next, we do have Shoutmon King Mode. Shoutmon King Mode is pretty awesome, to be honest with you. This one, instead of checking the top 3, this one's a hard play from hand. So if you do have a Taiki, a Tagiru, or a U in your hand, you get to play it for free. No restrictions, by the way. You don't have to have, you're not restricted like the other champions like Greymon or anything like that in the format, where if you already had said Tamer out, you can't play another one. Shoutmon King's version lets you just play one of them again. So if you have a Tagiru out, you can play another Tagiru. If you have a U out, you can play another U. If you have your Taiki out, you can instantly play another Taiki, giving you more consistent advantages. And it can Digivolve on top of your save. They all have that effect where they'll Digivolve for the cost up here for their save. So, not a bad trade-off there. It has a Digicross effect, so basically same thing. And similar to Daemon is the ability to take the top, the trash evolution once it's deleted, it saves itself, and then it puts a save card underneath one of your Tamers. So keeps your stuff cycling in as you want it. So on play and when Digivolving is huge for this card, but it also has a really good inheritable. So when attacking, this Digimon has saved, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a DP threshold of 4,000 DP or less. Really good. Doesn't come up all the time, but during certain matchups, you can bring down maybe a 6,000 DP Digimon down to the 4,000 with Elecmon, whatever the pencil thing is, and that minus 2,000 DP, bringing it down to 4,000, lets you kill with Omni Shout. So value in that is huge. Then we have none other than one of the best cards in the deck, because fundamentally, once you reach like even 4 memory and have enough sources under your Tamers, you could lead into comboing really nicely, because Arresterdramon is basically the champion form of Gundramon, and Gundramon plus this or any of the cross rookies really does help out, because when Digivolving, if this Digimon has 2 or more Digievolution cards in its Digievolution, it gains Rush. So very easy to meet that condition, because you just Digicross once and then boom, and then any of your Tamers will tuck more to reduce the cost down to nothing, and that's huge. And then, you know, on deletion, it has the save and be able to take one from trash and tuck it under one of your Tamers. So all the level 4s kind of do this, minus one of them. And then the Arresterdramon has the, if this have save, draw a card. So the Rush really does help out, because it can close out games very easily with you. Very important to keep that in mind. So then we have basically the Searcher of the deck. There's only 2 Searchers, Clockman, Mon, and Watcher. You know, the old Watcher guy. So this guy plus that are your only real Searchers of the deck that are Digimon related Searchers. So Clockmon is a blocker, which is really good. I think 3 is really solid. You could play 2 with no issues and tech in something else. The effect that it gives jamming really is nice if you have save in your text, and then on deletion save. But on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may grab 2 Digimon with different colors with save in their text. So if you reveal Arresterdramon, Gumdramon, and Dracmon, you can only grab the Arrester or Gum and then the Dracmon. So you want to have decent value. Or if you reveal a Tamer and Gumdramon and Arresterdramon, you will be stuck with having to only pick one of those 2 Digimon, because you can't grab the Tamer. So Clockmon is really useful for this, and that's very vital to keep in mind, because you want to have jamming. The blocker is really nice because you can take a little bit of alleviated damage, and stuff like that really does help out. And I think Clockmon is really solid. Then we're going to get into the ace of the deck, better known as Arresterdramon Superior Mode. So Arresterdramon Superior Mode is huge, because it can Digivolve on top of your Digimon with save in its text. But really nice is its end of turn effect. So if this Digimon has 4 or more Digievolutions, this Digimon can attack even suspended. So let's say you've already attacked for the turn, you can attack again. There is an errata, if I remember in JP, that says basically if you had 2 rested Arresterdramons, only one of them is going to be able to attack. That is, if I remember that correctly. So you can't do 2, you know, end of turn, you know, attack with Arresterdramon. There's some sort of errata or something going around about it, but that is kind of important to remember here. But it has a when Digivolving effect for every different color Tamer you have. It starts at a level 3 tuck, but very easily, if you have 4 different color Tamers on board, instantly this becomes being able to tuck a level 7 under one of your opponent's other Digimon or under one of their Tamers. which vitally is a very powerful removal that most decks don't fully have access to. So being able to get around most protections right now is huge because some stacks are just massive. And depending on the certain matchups, you can prevent them from gaining back that Digimon in a way. And those protection abilities are really annoying to get around. So this is very vital. I think at the end of the day, use Arresterdramon. Some people play it at 3, but 4 is kind of just the sweet spot in my opinion. You want to see this card. It's just one of the powerhouses of the deck. And it does have an inheritable that lets you draw, so worth keeping that in mind. Then we do have a clearer, actually. Omni Shoutmon. So in the anime, Shoutmon King version or Shoutmon gain the ability to evolve into its Omni Shout. So being a fusion of Omnimon plus Shoutmon's, Omnimon's gifted data to Shoutmon gave him the ability to digivolve into Omni Shout, which is funny because it's only a level 5, not a level 6, which is quite funny to me, to be honest. But being able to, when digivolving, you can select up to your opponent's Digimon equaling up to 4,000 DP, but for every 2 sources in this, you add 3,000. So if you get up to 6 sources in the stack, Omni Shout can pop 12. 3, 6, 9, 13 Digimon very easily, and it gets crazy pretty quickly because of the way the deck plays. But also, if this Digimon has at least 4 or more search sources, gain security +1, and then your turn, when this Digimon has save in its text, it can delete a 4,000 DP, similar to its King Shoutmon inheritable. So very much vital. Omni Shout is very much a powerful push card, but there's other ways of winning too. Then we do play 2 of the villain Big Bad known as Quartzmon. So this Digimon can digivolve on top of a 6, level 6 green, black, or white Digimon for a whopping 6 cost, which seems kind of expensive, right? Well, there's a lot of things with Quartzmon that just really makes him nasty. But the fact of, this effect here, being able to pay 9 costs for it's on top of a level 5 with save. So we don't play any level 6s, we only play up to 5. This Quartzmon will gain that ability, and it's really nasty. What's really nasty about this, and I'll explain the combo a little bit later in the video, is that you can activate your Tamer's effects and tuck Digimon underneath it to reduce that 9 cost down even further before it suspends everything. But when digivolving, suspend all Digimon and Tamers, and for every 2, gain 1 memory. So he can gain some decent headway value, but also all turns, this is the only Digimon that can unsuspend. So really gets really annoying though, keep this in mind, is that if your opponent has a Quartzmon and you have a Quartzmon, the moment they get rested, they get locked down, and you cannot unlock anything. So just keep that in mind. Or if you have 2 double Quartzmon, they both lock each other down, and it becomes impossible for you to attack with anything after that point. So you don't want to have 2 on board. Never do that. But when attacking, for every 5, a combination of Tamer and Digimon, trash one of your opponent's security stacks. So this gets a free trash, which green needs in general, which really does help out in Setcon matchup, but Quartzmon is just that powerful a boss Digimon. And I think being able to have this as an end top end really does help out because, also it does suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamer as the when attacking skill. So you don't need to suspend something to do the trashing, but as long as for every 5 in that combination, you get a free trash, which applies a lot of pressure. Quartzmon is really solid. Now we're getting into the Tamers. So first off, Taiki. Taiki is Shoutmon's main Tamer in this set. So he focuses around not really doing anything for Shoutmon, similar to how the old Taiki really focused on Shoutmon's cross-heart abilities, digi-crossing, but this one it focuses on start of your main phase. You may take a Digimon with save, tuck it under, draw a card, cycling your pieces, getting you more inheritables, But all the Tamers have this effect, -1 in this deck, that has the ability of when your Digimon would Digivolve, you may suspend this Tamer to take a card with save from under your Tamers, and one card. Not like Digicross, where you got like whatever the pieces you needed from under your Tamers. This one will reduce the cost by 1. So, Taiki, Yu, Tagiru, the, other cards we are playing all have these amazing effects to allow you to do this. So, keep that in mind. Taiki needs to be at 4, in my opinion. That draw advantage is just that good. Then we do have 3 Yu. Yu's Digimon is Damon. The Damon. So that card is Yu's Digimon of the set. It also has Choo Choo and Towomon. You can use those in the deck, but I don't think they're that vital. But being able to use Yu, it has an errata, boys and girls. It's supposed to be gain a memory. They just copied and pasted the green Evil Hunter effect and just did this because it's just easy to copy and paste. But he's a gain 1 memory card. So keep that in mind so people don't cheat you out. But it has the same effect as Taiki. It's going to be able to tuck a save Digimon under one of your other Digimon when they Digivolve to reduce the cost. So really powerful. I think 3's fine. Then we have Tagiru. So you might be wondering, why are we playing 3 Tagirus? So most people would have probably played 2, but with the meta shifting into deleting Tamers and stuff like that, I felt like having 4 Tagirus is just really vital. He's your mem setter of the deck, and being able to play your mem setter for free is really good. I think just being able to do this card the way it does is vital. I think at the end of the day, his Gumdramon into Arresterdramon into all the good vital stuff is really useful. So, I mean, he is Gumdramon's main tamer, main focus of the deck. That's why he's the mem setter of the set. Stuff like that does help out. And I think 3 Tagiru, just so that you have a higher cost so they can't just delete very easily. Again, in the Machine Dramon matchup, if you don't see Tagiru soon enough, you are going to lose out because they can just keep deleting your 3-cost Tamers. Then we have none other than the final searcher of the deck, Watchmaker. So this card has a check the top 3 for its on play, and then you gain 1 Digimon with save and 1 Hunter Tamer from among them, add them to your hand. Really good. But if you have a grand total of 4 Tamers in play, you can suspend this Tamer, give one of your Digimon with save an extra security check. So this is a main effect, so you can't do it while attacking. So just make sure you activate Watchmaker early enough that it'll vitalize you. His Japanese is Old Man Clock Shop, so he's very useful here. I think 3 is fine, just being able to search. He just can't grab himself because he doesn't actually have a inheritable. And anime, big spoiler, he is somebody you actually know. And then finally, we're going to play 1 Ryuma. Ryuma is Psychmon's tamer in this season. So Ryuma is really good because start a main phase, if this tamer has 2 or less Digimon with save under him, he gets to pull 1 from trash. So sometimes you can cycle in, combo in with Psychmon, being able to grab that piece back from when you on-play him, and really useful there. But your turn, when one of your Digimon would save, Digivolves, you get to do that effect. So Ryuma is just a good card. Not terrible in my opinion, definitely useful. So this is basically the final card we are playing in the deck, and that is the 50-card deck. So without further ado, let's get into So before we get into the combo section of the video, I figured it would be good to talk about maybe some tech choices you can play. First off, Yu Amano. Yu Amano from Bt-12 actually combos really nice with the deck. Is all turns effect when one of your purple Digimon gets, tucked under this tamer, draw 1 card, gain 1 memory. So it's a once per turn skill, but if you, let's say, had a Psychmon underneath your Shoutmon or Dammon, you can put put that purple Psychmon or Gumdramon underneath and gain that memory, draw a card. So being able to do that really does help out. And I think it's a small, decent generation tool. So definitely U is a decent thing. You won't use if's the effect for the Bogar army, which that's fine. You really don't need it. Then you could definitely play Shoutmon himself. So it has on deletion save, which is a little bit better than Electkaimon. So that card, basically, you can definitely go with this one. It digivolves for 0 on top of Digitama with save in its text. But also, your turn once per turn, when this Digimon with save in its text attacks, you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP. Shoutmon's line is all about deleting that 4000 DP. So, but Electkaimon is definitely worth probably playing over this, in my opinion. Then you do have Arresterdramon. Botching names is kind of the name of the game here. But it can digivolve on top of Psychmon for a whopping 5 cost. So not a bad trade up. Bring up your Psychmon from raising, tuck a bunch of stuff down. You can make this go into a level 5 and be cheaper. So not a bad trade-off. Definitely can play it. It does have a draw inheritable when attacking if it has save. But when digivolving, if you may play one level 4 or lower Digimon with save in its text from under one of your tamers without paying its cost. If this Digimon has 4 or more Digi-Evolution costs, you may digivolve into Quartzmon from your hand or under one of your tamers. Reduce the Digi-Evolution cost by 3 instead, so making a 6 cost, and then you get to tuck stuff underneath. So that all combos out really nicely. This is a good tech if you want to play it. You don't have to, but he's not a bad card at all. And then finally, Overflow Power. I don't play it, but some people might want to. It's a really good card. While you have a Tamer in play with Hunters in play, you may use this without meeting its color requirements. But one of your Digimon, you may digivolve one of your Digimon into a Digimon with save in its text from under one of your Tamers as a Digi-Evolution card. So this can get you back on a Arresterdramon you tucked underneath there earlier, or a Quartzmon. So sometimes Overflow Power can come up, but personally, I just don't see too much value in it. Some people might, and that's just personally just not my style. So that is cards I suggest you play in the... So one of the main ways of closing out the game in this kind of style of deck is actually surprisingly to hard play some stuff. So first off, let's go, play our Gumdramon with a Digicross. So this should bring you start of turn, start you at 4, which is not terrible at all. So you'll tuck any Digimon underneath this for the Digicross. Then you'll tuck something else underneath to draw you a card. Doesn't really matter what card you draw. So at this point, he's not bad. He's getting you some decent advantage. You got some Tamer being able to wiggle around what you want to do. And then basically what you're going to do is digivolve into a Arresterdramon. This card, because when digivolving will give you Rush, now the stack can attack, which then you'll do is reduce the cost, bringing this from that 4 memory, you're down to basically a whopping small little bit of amount of memory. What do I mean by this? This is not bad. This can swing in very easily, or what you could do instead of putting another draw, you can put the jamming in. So as long as your opponent doesn't have a blocker, you can use Watchmaker, make him be able to attack, swing in, get the extra damage in with the jamming. Now your opponent, you draw 3 cards, you now dealt some damage. This all costing you 2 memory to do this. And then finally, as long as your Digimon survived, no options really killed it, you can go right into Superior Mode, suspending this, then put the Omni Shout or anything you want to put underneath there. So let's put another Arresterdramon underneath this. Now this, because turn has passed, you'll remove a threat off board, and then boom, you'll swing in for the end of turn skill. You'll get to draw for the Arresterdramon because the inheritable wasn't there, activate in the first, and then whatever new card inheritable you put underneath. And he'll be able to swing with an extra security check. So this all now leading into a lethal play that you took out 2 security with jamming prior. Now this one you can probably clear out the game. Usually by that time you're already in a good spot to be able to do this combo, and then your opponent is just in a bad spot afterwards. You remove their threat off the board, usually tucking it under a Tamer, so that usually means there's no big blocker possibilities or a threat that's going to stop you. So all this is really solid of a game plan. Or even better yet, if you didn't swing in, you don't rest the Watchmaker, you know, just leave it like this. So, I mean, it's not bad. You remove the threat off the board and you should be able to win next turn anyway. So this is really important to understand. That is basically the end game strategy. The rest of it is just basically get your Tamers going, swing in, dies, tuck, you know, the finest wines you'll find here. You know, this deck is definitely worth its time and effort to play. So definitely expect this to be seeing a lot of competitive play going forwards, and it's worth just paying attention to. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hopefully you enjoyed the improvements I made to the video. And guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace!